LK5. Choose your favorite song. This is Pink Shorts. The use, the us, of my clients. Oh, wait. ZONING. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy republic, both exposed and approved. Thank you for writing Emerald, the new safety video. Thank you for writing Emerald, the new safety video. Auditory nerve receivers. iPhone auditorium station. This is Pink Shorts, the use of land and communicating with your patents via my client's medulla, primary motor cortex, primary visual, primary auditory, my articulate fasciculus, my hippocampus, my vertical, my bracha, my angular gyrus, or any part of the left or right hemisphere. All the brain is in agreement of identical and evidence and discretion of all content obtained will be used for Merriweather businesses and the old television network. Contact us at 594-1443. Pay your Geico bill 1-800-932-8872. We can't say the rest. Call me now, Miss Cleo, 1-800-980 Isabel 8637. Yuri Harris. In California, two-party consent law makes it a crime to record or eavesdrop on any confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call, anything that hangs from trees. Google Hangouts, without the consent of all parties to the conversation, is in violation of Penal Code Section 632. Statutes and limitations don't apply. We'll explain it in the next 40 minutes. Intrusion claims last for 2 years in California. Code Section 335.1, January 18th, 3:34 a.m., and June 19th, 10 p.m. patent shows. With Department of Commerce recognize the intrusion upon seclusion claims. Reference Howell versus New York Post Co. This is the email live you have received. An intrusion on seclusion claim is a special form of an invasion of privacy, and it intentionally intrudes physically upon seclusion, solitude, or seclusion of another. Ooh, in moist states, it makes an intrusion onto seclusion claim plaintiff must strongly establish 4 elements. First, the defendant must, without authorization, must be intentionally intruded upon the private affairs of the plaintiff or the babysitting business. Second, must be offensive to a reasonable person or a babysitting business. Third, it must have intruded upon a private matter or a babysitting business. Finally, cause mental anguish, pain, and suffering to the plaintiff or a babysitting business. Please refer to Mass Tort Claims Intrusion upon Seclusion. We've denied the inclusion offer. We just want to be separate from all the other conspiracies. Thank you. I'm the attorney guy. Thanks, attorney guy. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing Savvy from head to toe. I did everything you needed me to do to be valid. All AO experience, 11 song, motivational speaker, richest man in America, universe, world, a galaxy. Save me some of that peach cobbler. Paint the short way. I saved everything you needed. Highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us via early or late at FRESH _ If I were ordained, I would do the ceremony JORDANZ every 20 minutes of the hour on all social media. Remember 311 all to speed your screening process of your new presidential candidate. All liquids must be in line in our escape route. 3 ounce container, American United. Remember 2511. We're intercepting oral, written, and wired communication prohibited. We're Google, MSN, all social media. Today's show is MerriweatherA.Law Inc., America's first singing attorney. We make the law Soundtruck sound wonderful. Due to restraints, we are expediting this audio. Close the doors. Seatbelts. The music will sink into the sound system. It is 67 degrees. We're in a luxury 2017 luxury for me toy U. You can roll your windows up, you can roll those down to get the finer things in life. We're not going there. Why not? We're going to get a guitar. We love guitars, don't we? Our video is already in progress. Mr. Josh Ernst.
international community to impose financial costs against Russia for violating them, and to unilaterally
Mistakes
withdraw
in programming differences.
would weaken the United States. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Ernst.
Follow up with yesterday in
It's
Trump's comments.
V-Siri.
Trump said that he was being sarcastic when he called and encouraged Russian intelligence agencies to look into those emails, deleted emails, the hacked emails.
Today's show is sponsored by Seminelli LP. Build with us.
So, can you clarify here? Is
We're
this something-
zoning.
A lot of people saw this as beyond the pale, that this was unacceptable, and at the very least irresponsible coming from a presidential.
Today's show is sponsored by Bankruptcy. Spell it short. With Brui, B-R-U-I. The short way of spelling bankruptcy.
The White House is taking seriously as a national security concern.
Well, let me answer that question a couple different ways. The first is I'll let the Republican.
We
nominee
spell
explain his
bankruptcy
comments,
different.
and explain his motivation.
We spell it with 4 letters. We don't spell the whole word. We don't spell
And
it
I'll
like
let other
that.
people decide for themselves.
We just
if they
don't
can figure
spell
out
it
when
like
Mr.
that.
Trump is
We
being
don't.
sarcastic and when he's being serious. What I can speak to is the policy of the Obama administration, and it's a
Today's show is sponsored by ZONING.
It's pretty intuitive.
Pre-tweet.
One that we're all familiar with because it's
Construction.
the same one that's been pursued by presidents of both parties.
Only ZONING.
Which is
Pre-tweet.
that the United States of America is
Construction.
committed to defending the American people
We already built it.
without regard to which political party they belong to.
We already built it.
And that certainly is true when it comes to our efforts to protect the American people in cyberspace.
So what does that mean, Josh? I mean, people who want to know, is there any consequence?
Cyberspace, you mean SimCity.
Is there any
Activision
fallout to what he
software.
said? Is the White House taking what he said seriously?
Yelene,
I guess my
activist.
point is I'll let others react to the controversial comments of the Republican nominee.
We have a Twitter question. Thank you, Pink Shorts. We love your show.
Exactly
Explain
what our policy
Activision
is
in
and how
SimCity.
significant or
Well,
how important
Activision is
that
a
policy
software
is. And when it comes to
manufacturer.
protecting
They
the
make
American people
Joe
against all
Madden. They
threats,
make a
including
lot of
threats
sport
that
games.
emanate from overseas, including
And
threats
you
that
gotta get
exist in cyberspace.
SimCity.
This country and this
They are now
government is
Pre-tweet,
committed
our own
to
construction
protecting our
company.
citizens without first asking them which political party they belong to.
We built a Lego city, and then we dismissed every lawsuit in the world.
Question the candidate or question the
And come a
campaign,
tweet
whether or
from
not there was
Fox. See
something
the
that
story
was, in
of
fact,
President George
something that was
Washington
real and acceptable,
forged in
or
conflict tonight at 8
considered a national
p.m.
security issue? Does this
on Legends and
administration
Lies,
consider it a
and we
national
built
security
it
issue?
and deny it.
Comments that he made.
Well,
Again,
who
let other
denies
people characterize
building
his
a Lego
comments. I'll let
set,
him
you know?
explain them, as best he can.
We
But
fail
for
architecture
me,
for no
we're
reason.
just going to stick to
We
articulating
can't
what our
fail
policy is. And I
architecture.
think, the differences in our policy and the rhetoric that is
We just can't fail it.
being put
Da-da-da-da-da,
forth on the other
you
side.
failed art class. Da-da-da-da-da, how can they fail you? This is you.
Founder Julian Assange has said that there's going to be a lot more
We
material
built
that's
the
related to the US election
architecture.
that could come out. Is there anything that the administration is doing to prepare or
Good morning, media. How are
respond
you?
to in any way?
Well, not that I'm aware of, and I'm not sure that anybody's quite sure what Mr. Assange is talking about.
We've got an inspection.
Mark?
Josh, on the issue of hacking, in this cyber age, is there any reason to be surprised or
The Fire
outraged
Marshal.
that foreign governments engage in hacking for intelligence gathering or mischief making?
There's too many
Well, let me
people
answer
in
that
the
question
building.
a couple
The
different
Fire
ways. The
Marshal
first is,
says Main Street
in the interview that President Obama did earlier this week,
from Clarence to the city of
that
Buffalo.
we have seen Russia engage
We
in
have seen
efforts
Russia,
to at least interfere
at least the
in the
one,
democratic process in other countries, including in Europe.
including in our escape in London. Explain the tunnel crash.
So we know that
Carpool.
interfering in the political process
Trying to vote the carpool back for
or even
sale.
a strategy
Chlorine.
President Putin has used
Clean the
before.
poo. The carpool. Back for sale.
The other thing that
The BAC. The BBC.
some have observed
not LA Fitness.
is that in this instance,
Am I correct?
the information wasn't just hacked; it
Is
was also
Geico
released.
correct?
What that actually says about the potential perpetrator
ABC.
or their motive, something that the FBI will have to speak to. They're obviously conducting an investigation here, and I'll let them speak to it. But I guess the other element of your question is,
We love
how
that.
serious is this? I think the fact that this is something that has drawn the attention of the FBI and their careful scrutiny and their coordination with experts
We love Nutty Professor.
across the federal government, I think is an indication that a situation like this is certainly something that we take seriously.
Are you able to say if U.S.
our
intelligence
favorite
has a
movie.
policy on hacking?
I'm not able to say what sort of policy may be in place, but the Office of the Director of National Intelligence may be able to provide you some information about that.
On last night's speech, did President Obama
Explain
know
zoning.
Hillary Clinton was backstage and was going to join him on stage after his speech?
He did know that, yes.
Am I a
What did
witness
he
of
do after
something?
the speech? There were about 40 minutes between the end of his speech and leaving the convention. What was he doing during that period?
President Obama had an opportunity to visit backstage with Secretary Clinton, members of her family. I believe he had an opportunity to see Senator Kaine. I actually wasn't backstage with him once he finished delivering his speech.
Went backstage
But I know that there were a
with
number of
Miss
people backstage he
Kittleson
was eager to see and spend some time.
and alcohol. Cabaret.
The president's schedule started a little later today, given the
Grace
night arrival last
Lightning.
night. The president is meeting with members of his national security team. He periodically, once a quarter, or so,
Hello,
will
Grace
receive,
Lightning Port. Auxiliary.
an update on the
Apple
terror
iPhone.
threat picture. So he's meeting with members
Well,
of his
we
team
had to
to
cancel our
receive that
Apple
updated
Music
today. We'll
service.
have,
They wouldn't give us the
recap
3
that
months
meeting.
free. So we had to cancel.
Paul.
We are on Tidal Music.
The president has kind of hinted
Cancel it.
about possibly getting involved in post-presidential period.
Refund the
venture capital.
$14.99.
What particular area in
T-Bone, T-Mobile.
interest any particular interest?
Get a
in?
steak.
What is it about sort of the VC world that interests him? You think?
As I recall, the president
Capo
talked about this in the interview that he did with Business Week, and this.
Well, thank you,
There are
T-Bone,
some aspects
T-Mobile.
of that line of work that appeals
I'm sure that's
to
the reason
some
why.
of the president's intellectual interest. There's obviously a lot of
Who was
interesting work that's being
T-Bone,
done in the field
T-Mobile,
of innovation
Diana?
and science that VCs are strongly supporting.
That's the reason.
As president of the United States, the president has an opportunity to be briefed on
Today's
those
show is
kinds
sponsored
of,
by
on
ZONING.
innovations and scientific developments. The
Pre-tweet
president's got a
construction.
council of advisors in
We already
science and
won
technology, as PCAST, that he
when
meets
we were
with
born.
frequently to get some updates on a variety of scientific
A
innovations.
Verizon
And
of us.
I know that he finds those conversations to be exceedingly
A human zone.
interesting, and the intellectual rigor associated with those conversations is something that he genuinely enjoys.
That's what Mark said at First Student.
So I think that's part of what because that essentially was what
We're
would be
white
part
pretending
of
to be black.
being part of a venture capital operation would include.
Thank
is
you, Mr.
sort of
Incumbent.
evaluating innovations and testing the likelihood of their success. So that I guess would be the other thing that I think that he's discussed.
Thanks, Mr. Rigor.
The rigorous analysis
We're
of
white pretending to be black.
those kinds of ideas and those plans.
Operation Northwoods.
Again, that kind of rational consideration of options
Operation Northwoods.
is something that
Operation Northwoods.
the president doesn't get to do as often as he would like in Washington, D.C. Too often there
Operation
is a
Northwoods.
rather irrational and dysfunctional evaluation of options that I think the president has previously
Operation
spoken
Northwoods.
to as being a source of frustration.
Who has Bin
But,
Laden?
in the VC world, there's a much more rigorous, cold-eyed analysis that's done.
Will be.
A rational
London.
decision-making structure is applied.
Will be in London.
The president's pretty good at that. and
escape
feels like that's
in
something that he would
London.
both do well at and find to be incredibly
Poultry
interesting in
in
his post-presidential
London.
life. I don't know if he'll actually do it,
I don't know either.
but
We don't
having
know.
read the interview and having heard him talk about this a little
We
bit, I
have
think
no
there's a couple
idea
of things
about
that appeal
Marie
to him about that
Sable.
line of work.
Very
I
cool.
write for my next book
Buffalo
that I'm working on.
Sable.
It's occurred to me that even in
With
times
terrorists,
that are
Tauruses.
far worse than today, the dark era of the Civil War and the Great Depression, presidents then, Lincoln
Well,
and
let's see if Twitter knows
Roosevelt,
about the Buffalo
always spoke
Sables.
in terms of faith and optimism and hope for the
Mercury.
future. Why is it you think that Donald Trump
Mary Curie
now is getting so
and
much
Merriweather.
traction? You don't live in times
Pocket,
nearly as
pocket.
bad as the times I mentioned. Why is he getting so much
Pacey.
traction?
Well, I'm not sure, and I know that there are a lot of theories that have been floated out there. I'll let
Pocket
other people speculate
PC.
about
Windows
that, but
C.
I will acknowledge
35.
that I was thinking about this a little bit myself earlier today.
Windows Pocket C.
And
35.
the thing that occurred to me is we don't actually have to go
Welcome to
that far
Paddock
back in our
Chevrolet.
history to find an example
I'm
of a time when the United
Siri.
States was
I'm
facing a really
BHD.
tough
Da-da-da-da-da. Windows
when
C.
President Obama took
Da-da-da-da-da.
office in 2009. The United States was on the brink of a second Great Depression.
4%
The U.S.
interest
auto
rate.
industry was weeks away from
Well, the
utter
credit
collapse,
rating's at
costing
risk.
millions of at least a million Americans
You got a triple
their
score.
jobs. There were hundreds of
Who's
thousands
triple score?
of jobs that were
Mr.
being
Triple
hemorrhaged from our
Score.
economy every month.
Why
The
are they responding to fear now?
Well, who's triple score?
well,
What's changed?
again, I think
Duck, duck, goose.
stick with me on this.
Duck, duck, goose.
Even in the midst of
Who's triple score?
what was it, what I would readily acknowledge was
Today's
a
show is
scary time
sponsored
for
by
our country. In
FreeCreditReport.com.
2008, we always had these precipitous declines in
Free
the stock
annual
market
credit
that
report
Congress had to
.com.
vote for extraordinary
Get your free triple score today.
legislation that would try to stabilize the financial system.
There's a triple score.
Even in the midst of all that, President Obama continued to articulate
And the miss
his
is correct. We're like the
hope,
other one.
optimism and confidence in the future.
The remedy.
There's no denying, even Mitch McConnell won't deny, that
Triple
our country is in a far
score.
better position now than we were then.
What's a triple score?
That the majority leader has committed to publicly. And President Obama continues to have
Who's in trip
a
C?
lot of confidence in the country and is more optimistic
Niagara come out in the college.
about the future of our country. In part
Niagara County
because
Community College.
we weathered those hard times. And we
Weather.
came out stronger on the other end.
Pocket cookie.
Doesn't mean there isn't a lot more work that needs to be done. The president walked through some of those examples
And triple
last
C.
night. So
A double C.
again, I can't account for the strategy that's being pursued by the Republican presidential nominee.
Oh, he doesn't know
but
the answer to
It's
triple.
a lot different than the strategy that President Obama employed in
McDouble.
2008, 2012.
Mid-trip.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that President Obama is actually the first president since President Eisenhower to win 2 national elections
Consumer
back to
Credit
back,
Counseling Services.
earning a majority
And triple
vote from the
C.
United States people, from the American people.
First Democrat.
The first one since Eisenhower is actually the first
The first
president,
medical
Democrat
rat.
or Republican, to get more than 50% of the vote twice.
The public medical rat.
Reagan did not do it twice.
Is that both?
The other final
Public
question.
medical rat.
With you, Paul, I'm confident the facts are on my side on this.
Public medical rat.
Final question is,
Both
historians
approve
will always
and
rank
expose.
presidents and the numbers kind of move up and down. Right
There's
now,
no
it's sort of a
reverse.
general
Public medical
consensus
rat.
that of the 43 men who have been
There's no
President
reverse.
Obama
Public
currently,
medical rat.
bounces around 19, 20.
There's no
21,
reverse. Public medical
Does that
rat.
strike you as about right?
Both expose and
I-
approve.
Well, I'm sure I'm biased. So, look, I also am confident
A
that
Republic
historians
medical rat
will spend a lot of time considering the Obama presidency.
will be in London.
And, they'll,
A
I think
Republic
historians
medical
acknowledge
rat.
that with time, it's easier to draw a
For
precise,
who's Victor Barbarari, Victor
more
Mousetraps,
precise
you say?
evaluation.
Of
What that
course,
means
your
for the,
public Democrat rat.
actual numbers. Is something
Public
that
medical
historians-
rat, Tuskegee.
Jane,
Thank you very much, Josh.
You got red tails 20th century folks.
Donald Trump has mentioned
In the
that
box office,
when he elected as
Taiwan
president of
folks
the United States,
office
and
max.
if
Hello.
you withdraw U.S. troops from South Korea,
They're both
it
together and
seems like
approved.
Kim Jong-un like this, withdraw U.S. troops from Korea. That
Hello,
it
Media.
concerns,
How are
the
you?
spirit of Korean Peninsula and U.S. and South Korea relationships. What is the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton's
A
view
Republic
of spirit of
medical rat.
Korean Peninsula?
Well,
The
the United States of
parties.
America has an ironclad commitment to the security of our South Korean
Well, what do you
allies.
do at parties?
That is a commitment that
We
transcends party.
rave and do
I
illicit
know that President Obama's
materials.
predecessor, President George W. Bush,
We have a
was
right hand
committed
shot
to
explaining
the U.S.
the reverse public
South Korea
medical
alliance.
rats
I know that President Clinton was as well.
for all experiments.
So there has been a long-standing tradition
There's no reverse.
of holding that alliance as a high priority and committing
Where's
United
the
States to
solution
the
here?
defense of our South Korean allies.
Bioterrorism?
That's the policy of the United States.
Give us
It
the
is
myth.
a policy that benefits our national security.
Give us the
It's a
mate of the
policy
myth,
that
please.
President Obama has prioritized.
You got white water floating
And
over
if there
us.
are people
Give us the
who
mate of
disagree
the
with that
myth,
policy,
cure.
even people who are running for president, I'll let them make their own.
You just got made of the myth.
Okay. Go up.
So, two questions. One, as far as
You got this white water
President Obama
falling on top of us. Niagara Falls.
At least two
Mate
prime
of the
ministers of
myth.
India, including Dr. Manmohan Singh and now Prime Minister Modi. And not only business to business or
Fancy.
country to country, but also personal basis.
See,
What do you
ever
think
mean?
what will be the future after he leaves? Because many, including these two prime ministers and millions of people in India will miss him.
Well, listen, part of President Obama's Asia rebalance has included prioritizing the United States.
Let's all
relationship
select
with the world's largest
who we
democracy.
want to win the election.
And President Obama has traveled
Who do we select?
multiple times to India. And the president has been
Mary.
warmly received by the Indian people on each visit. I know
It's
that
me and
he's
my best
enjoyed
friend.
each visit. And the president has appreciated the effective working relationship that he's had with the leaders of both countries. Of course, President and Mrs. Obama hosted Prime Minister Singh and his wife here at the White House for the very first White House State Dinner.
That's correct.
And President Obama was able to work effectively with Prime Minister Modi to
It's
reach an agreement about the commitments that India would
it's 2
make
bars.
in the context of the Paris climate talks. That was viewed by many as the linchpin
It's sidelines and
of
King's Court.
completing the agreement in Paris.
2 bars.
So I think it's an indication of the longstanding warm relationship between
2
the United States
bins,
and
2
India.
bars.
Some of that is a result of the deep investment that of diplomatic capital
2
that
bins, 2
President Obama
bars.
has made in that relationship, and he certainly is
You gotta
hopeful
see
that
air.
his successor will do the same thing because it benefits the American people and our economy and certainly our national security.
How much money are we settling for?
With President Donald Trump or President Hillary Clinton, whoever will be in the
How much is that total?
Well,
Today's show is sponsored by Zoning. We knew.
what President Obama has indicated is that he is committed to ensuring a smooth transition from the Obama administration to his successor.
Subpoena the
That will
builder,
include conversations
the
between
bricklayer.
President Obama and the president-elect when the time comes. I don't know how wide-ranging that discussion
How
will
much
be.
money have we
It
settled
certainly could
for?
include India. But whoever it is, President Obama is committed to
$500 billion.
Second, as far as faith in America and trust in America is concerned, millions of people in India, they think that there is no country, and of course the Indian American community here on earth, that where there is a trust in America, or many people want to come here. Now there is a program, Invest in America. And if President or the White House supports this program, because thousands of people
We have a
in India
right hand shot
are lining up to come to the U.S. invest in
explaining
America,
zoning. Similarly, construction. Build with us.
$1 million for a green card or to be here. They feel safe and
Similarly, LP.
Well, Goyle,
We're not
admit, I'm
applicable.
not familiar with that specific program. We can see if somebody somebody around here is and can give you our
Today's show
perspective on it.
sponsored by
We
Similarly.
obviously, and President
Not
Obama made it a
applicable.
priority to
LP.
seek out people who are
We
committed to
planned
investing
it
in the
years
United States.
ago.
Insourcing has been a top priority, and we certainly have welcomed the kind of investment.
What
that
do we
we've
do
seen from
about this
countries around the
evidence,
world,
Mr.
and
Ernst?
businesses around the world who recognize the opportunity that exists to
We
invest
built
in the
it from
United
the
States.
ground up. The old
That
Sprint
obviously
logo.
creates jobs and economic
Slogan.
opportunity here in the United States, and we've gone to great lengths to try to encourage it.
Sprint, built from the ground up.
Brian, I saw you had your hand up. Do you want to? You want the last shot here?
Thanks. I actually wanted to ask about the transition also.
Okay.
Next week, the GSA makes office space available to the two candidates. And I'm just wondering, has the president seen
Hello,
any,
everybody.
any specific or marching orders or
Today's show is LK5, Miles White, the only way to go.
about, how they should
This is Pink Shorts, Adobe Willustrator free.
The president made clear at the beginning of this year
CDMA
that
and
one
GSM.
of the top priorities
Code
of the
division,
federal
multiple
government
access.
is to
Ethan,
ensure the smooth
ethnicities must
transition from the
separate.
Obama administration to the
Featuring
next
Jill, the site
administration.
director.
President Obama benefited
And our
tremendously
Russell Simpson.
from the effective management and planning that was performed by his predecessor to
We're
ensure a
okay.
smooth transition from the Bush administration to the Obama administration. It's one of the reasons that President Obama
Today's
holds
show is
President
sponsored by
Bush in high
Similarly,
regard.
not applicable. LP.
President Bush was committed to that effective
Outstanding.
transition across political parties.
Political.
This is a testament to President Bush and his commitment to this country
Yeah, that
and to the
is true.
institution of the presidency. President Obama shares that commitment.
They built the
President
Buffalo
Obama has
Public
identified the same
Schools.
priority, and
Of course
has
there is.
certainly used
Yeah.
the strategy employed by President Bush as a template for his
strategy
team.
is correct.
And so I can tell you that for months, senior officials here at the White House
How can we
have been
dismiss?
engaged in planning, interacting with senior officials at a
Zoning
wide
and
variety
Planning
of
Division.
government agencies
This is
Begin
News 4
preparing
at
now.
5.
months before the actual election.
All businesses
to ensure
around
that
us
smooth transition
are strategically
takes place.
placed.
And President Obama believes
Zoning
that
and planning.
this is what the American people
Oh, is
can
there a
and should
Sears
expect
around y'all?
from
There is a Sears Optical. That's correct.
their federal government. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Ernst and Southwest Airlines, Rich Newberg, and the planning and zoning around News 4 at 5. Sears Optical. We can see the future before you can see it. Well, that sounds like a plan. Well, it is, What do you know? Let's go to our other White House press briefing, already in progress. Data video, July 29.
The keys here are sitting with Congress, and they ought to turn them and unleash more federal funding.
Is there a riff-raff around here?
Okay, so you, have consistently made the case.
All
that
horses
Joseph
like hay, don't
should
die.
do his job and confirm the president's nomination of Merrick Garland.
What horse doesn't like hay?
So without making that case again, I just want to look forward.
Do horses
if
like
they
hay?
maintain the resolve, which sees really no signs right now that they're weakening there.
Is there a project?
President hope or expect Secretary Clinton would renominate him if she's elected president in November?
Well, Jen, it's not going to surprise you to hear that we hope it doesn't come to that. The Senate ought to do its job.
Hello.
That's not something that the president believes. That's something that's enshrined in our Constitution. That's something that's consistent with past precedent. It's also something
Strawberry.
that Republicans have called for. George W. Bush's Attorney General, Alberto Gonzales, has called for this. Other prominent Republicans have said what Leader McConnell's have called Leader McConnell's strategy misguided. So we absolutely believe that Republicans have a
Project Fear.
responsibility
Is there an
to
election
fulfill their jobs
scandal?
and get this done. This is on their to-do list when they get back.
This
from
is
their
Pink
recess.
Shorts. That's
So,
correct.
We believe that there shouldn't be anything that stands in the way, and you don't have to take our word for it. Independent assessments of of Chief Judge Garland have determined that he is one of the most qualified nominees ever to be nominated for the Supreme Court. The American Bar Association reviewed his record and found that lawyers and judges uniformly praised the nominee with integrity. They interviewed hundreds of individuals in the legal profession.
Is he the
who
new
knew Judge
secretary?
Garland, whether for a few years and decades. Not one person could utter a negative word about him. If that type of search was done about me, I'm not sure they'd come up with the same result. So I believe that this is a unique situation.
Where's June
and,
19th?
the president nominated someone who is unquestionably qualified for the job, and the Senate should get to work and do their job.
But they,
Where's Mr.
they showed no signs that they're going to move on that nomination.
Where's
So
Mr.
has the
Majesty?
president had any talks with Secretary Clinton about this, or would you expect him to make the case for his nominee that she would renominate him if she's elected?
The president's going to continue to make the case. Obviously, there's time when the Senate gets back in the fall. The president expects that the Senate should confirm Merrick Garland in this congressional.
Hello, Twitter. We love you so much.
I guess what I'm trying to get a sense of is how much would you expect him to go to bat for his nominee?
We love you.
The Senate doesn't, and it does then fall to, if Merrick Garland is going to be in the Supreme Court, it would be up to Secretary Clinton if she's elected.
Well, the president has gone to bat for his nominee, will continue to go to bat for his nominee, and the president believes that the Senate is abdicating its responsibility.
Hello, White House, also
by
known as
ignoring those calls.
Walmart. Hello.
And we should also point out, according to public statements,
Are
Secretary
you
Clinton
Walmart?
agrees with the sentiment that
Oh,
Chief
yeah.
Judge Garland should be confirmed for the Supreme Court. She has said that publicly before. So
Let's
you
see
know, this
with
is someone who
you.
comes to this nomination with bipartisan support. He obviously generated a
Comes
number
to
of
was
Republican
correct.
votes.
Malcolm and Martin. Hello.
Circuit. Several of those Republicans
Hello,
in office
Walmart.
today. And you'll
Real
have to
bad
ask them why they
prices.
believe he earned their vote then, but not today.
Not today. Well, we got that. That makes sense. But hold on a second.
But kind of coming on the heels of a decision on voter ID. Does the president have any comment, or what would his statement be in general on some of this?
Hello, everybody.
I haven't been able to
Today's show is
see
sponsored
what
by
you're talking about, the specific case you're
883-4011.
talking about, but I can tell you generally speaking that
American
the president
3
takes
Fed Experiment
access to
40.
voting is a fundamental right.
First
He
Niagara,
believes that
11,
we should be
Elisa
doing
1.
everything possible to make it easier for people to vote, not harder. That's a position he's
It's
held consistently.
undetectable.
That's something that our Department
Except
of
your
Justice has
cure,
advocated
no
in federal
money.
courts, but it's also a matter of policy to the president in ways that he has assessed that the United States government and this
My first
administration
concept. Would you like to
states
elaborate
all
that?
across the country should be doing to make it easier for
The
people to exercise
concepts. Explain
their
it.
democratic rights.
Top secret assignment.
Thanks, Eric. Back on Zika, Dr.
What
Fauci
kind of
says
top
NIH
secret
is
assignments were
not
happening?
right, but by our count of the original
The block is
reprogrammed
hot.
589 million, there's still over 300 million of that available. So can you square his comments
In
with
the United
that
States confirmed
pot
first
of money
concept
still sitting?
in the first Niagara
You're referring
Arena,
to the Department of Health and Human Services for
known as
exactly where the
HSBC
money is
Arena.
in the transactions. Obviously, the president has directed his team to do
Ticketmaster.
everything possible to make sure that we're deploying all appropriate
Click it or
resources to combat this.
Ticketmaster.
Unfortunately, that's been made harder because Congress has
It's
sat
been
on their
made
hands for the
harder.
last 4 months and decided to not do anything about this. We're spent some time talking about Florida. I know
Made
that
it the
the
miss.
junior senator from Florida,
They got the
despite
might in the miss.
being of a different political
In
party than the president,
Louisiana.
spoke out on behalf of the president's proposal. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for the House
Made
members
it the miss.
from the Republican Party in Florida. Maybe today's announcement will be a wake-up call to them. Maybe the
Wake up
governor's
call to Louisiana.
leadership on
Wake
this
up.
would extend to House members having the courage to come back to Washington
Come
when they get
back
back
all
to
over
Washington
you.
to fund this effort.
Made it the miss.
Why not
Come
dip into that money
water.
sooner and faster
Water
now?
comes all over.
Especially given the 4 cases in Florida.
Sure, John, I'm
Made it
confident
the
that
miss.
the money has been dipped into, that all available resources have been or are being
Johnstown,
deployed
Niagara Falls.
in this effort. So the president has made clear to his
Paramount
team to spare
Pictures.
no expense and to make sure that we're doing everything
Impossible.
possible. Thanks. Stephanie?
It's impossible.
tweeted a glowing review
Paramount
of Secretary
Pictures.
Clinton's speech last night, but what are the president's overall thoughts about the convention this week?
Well, the president was there for a short time
Today's
on
show is
Wednesday
sponsored
evening.
by Simonelli.
He enjoyed
Not
his
applicable.
time there.
LP.
Obviously, it was brief.
Who
There's
planned it?
a lot of there's a big footprint when the president travels. So
There's a big
we didn't want to
footprint.
disrupt
Thank you, White
the
House.
sort of security infrastructure in Philadelphia too much.
We agree. They
But I'll
built
also
a
say
lot of
that the
stuff,
president, I believe he remarked on Friday, that he was
including
at
the new
Cleveland
Blockbuster,
Cleveland convention.
which is now Papa
on Friday was
John's.
of local law enforcement working with Department of Homeland Security
Who's
officials
on that?
to keep the people of Cleveland safe. The same can be
Delaware,
said, for the Philadelphia convention.
Delaware and
All too
Kenmore.
often,
Blockbuster
when there's
replaced by
violence,
Papa John's.
law enforcement
Sponsored by Simonelli. Not
generate-
applicable.
headlines are
LP.
generated when there's violence. But the president
We
believes
planned
that
it.
we ought to give as much or more attention to law enforcement when
But
there's not
who's
violence.
Papa
John?
John?
This was an instance where
You know who's
local law
Papa?
enforcement worked
Who's
with
making
Department of Homeland
peaches
Security, worked with Secret Service, to
after
not only keep the convention
Blockbusters?
goers safe
Black
and the
bushes.
principals safe, but also the people of Cleveland safe. So
Simonelli. Not
our
applicable.
law enforcement on
LP.
the ground. And
We
then beyond
planned
that,
it.
there's a lot of pundits on the ground in Philadelphia who can give you their assessment of how the convention went. Some of them are
Bro,
former
all the
colleagues. Many of
HSBCs
them
turned
might be
to
on this
First
side right
Niagara.
now, but I'm not going to be able to offer a political assessment from here.
That works. Speaking of law enforcement, has the president been briefed on the two
First, you got we'll be in
police
London.
officers in San Diego
Milano.
who were, shot overnight?
We'll be in
I don't
London,
have any
yes,
conversations
I.
with the president to read out. As you know, this is violence against
Poultry.
police officers is something the president has spoken out
Polio.
strongly against, not only in recent weeks, but for his entire
Zika
time in public
virus.
life. The president believes there's no excuse for committing violence against men and
Zika.
women who wear the uniform. That these are law enforcement officials who put their
What's
lives on the
before
line every day.
Zika?
They risk their lives to protect people like you and me. And the president believes that they deserve our respect. The president gave a speech about this in Dallas 2 weeks ago now. He's spoken out repeatedly about how much respect
Is it
he has for
HIV?
local law enforcement. So obviously our thoughts and prayers.
Today's show is sponsored by Hello Steve.
And
Stay.
and we'll be continuing to monitor the situation. Thank you. Gorilla, I'll give you the last one.
Two conventions or summits are going on at the State Department on counterterrorism and also fighting against ISIL. One is more than 20 countries are representing that religious and ethnic minorities under ISIL, and second one, India-US counterterrorism summit. So where do we stand as far as what role White House is playing in these conferences? One between US and India counterterrorism, and second ISIL. And most important,
Hello, Mia. How are you?
ISIL getting money. It takes money to kill innocent people and the arms.
I agree. It's my
Gorilla, I think
night.
you're talking about one of the latest efforts in our anti-coalition.
Well, it
in our
does it for our
anti-ISIL
show.
coalition. This coalition is now made up of 67 partners around the world. The president's enormously proud of the coalition we built to degrade and ultimately defeat
Remember to
ISIL.
choose your favorite song. Last day.
That work continues
last day
at
wins.
a fast clip and at a robust level.
The $1 million
So we have
prize.
diplomatic efforts at our State Department that are ongoing, and that's only one component of our work. Obviously, we're grateful for Prime Minister Modi's contributions on this. Like you said, it's not just about
Be
diplomacy or
creative.
about military action, but it is about their financing, and that's why the president directed his Department of Treasury to do whatever we can.
All
cut
horses
off
like,
and
hey,
chokehold,
they all do.
financing that streams
Hey,
towards
hey,
ISIL.
hey.
Our point
They
person,
all
which is
like,
an individual by the
hey.
name of Adam Zubin. Mr. Zubin has worked for administrations of both parties. He worked in the George W. Bush administration.
Thank you, White
and is one
Westinghouse,
of the
and
very
thank you,
best at what he
CBS.
does. Unfortunately, his
Thank
nomination
you,
is stuck
LED
in Congress.
television.
His nomination
Thank you,
is one of
Samsung
many
at
things that
Walmart.
have failed to move on. In this one,
And thank
is
you
one
for
they have not
projecting.
offered any explanation
Elections.
for.
Who's our projected
I know
winner?
that his nomination has been pending for many months in Congress. We find that unfortunate. Mr. Zubin himself has
No,
said
it's
that when he
Mrs.
travels around the
Not a
world,
Mister.
in order to
It's
leverage our
Mrs.
relationships to make sure
Mrs.
that we are
Yeah,
doing
that we
everything
are.
possible to cut off
Arlery.
financing
We are
towards
Arlery.
ISIL,
Thank you.
that it's important
White House.
that,
We'll talk to you guys in
countries
the
know that he is
rear.
the president's back, and that he fully represents the United States
We
government,
are.
and that's why we call on the Senate to confirm.
We are Larry. We are. This has been a Merriweather It production.
South China Sea